might, but by your divine plan. I acknowledge that no mission can succeed without you. I submit myself, my team, and this vision into your hands. Bless Uganda, bless our youth, bless our farmers, bless our teachers, bless our doctors, our soldiers, our pastors, our mothers and fathers. Awaken in us a fire that will not be quenched until righteousness flows like a river of flowing water. I therefore commit this journey, this cause, and the future of our nation into your hands. May your will be done. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Fellow Ugandans, my name is Nasa Kakumba Sebalam. I am honored to stand before you today as a presidential aspirant of the great Republic of Uganda. As a son of this soil, shaped by the experiences of our people and driven by the conviction that Uganda can be and must be better, I am humbled by your trust, strengthened by your hope, and inspired by the dreams that we carry in our hearts. I want to welcome each and every person who has made it to this presser, but I also want to salute each and every person who will at one point in time come across this message that I'm releasing to the public today. I've walked in the shoes of each and every ordinary Ugandan that you can imagine. I have stood in line in hospitals waiting for treatment. I have boarded and continue to board borders. I have witnessed the struggles of our farmers, whose sweat brings food to our tables, but whose pockets remain empty. I have seen the helplessness of parents whose children are bright but cannot afford tuition. I am here not because I seek a title. I am here because Uganda deserves better. Allow me also take this moment to thank the tireless men and women who have worked behind the scenes to organize this moment. You have carried this vision with dedication and passion. You have sacrificed your time, your resources, and your comfort to push this dream forward. From the administrators, to the mobilizers, to every volunteer, I honor you. Indeed, I honor you. Without you, this moment would not be possible. Together we are building something bigger than ourselves. We are building a future for the generations to come. Uganda, our beloved home, is a land of endless opportunities. Our country is a testament of the richness that God has given unto us. We sit on land blessed with abundant minerals, gold, oil, cobalt, copper, name them. Our soils are rich in fertility. As far as the eyes can see, you see fertile soils in Arua, in Gulu, in Koboko, in Kabale, everywhere in this country. God has blessed us immensely. We are a nation of over 45 million people. And what is even more inspiring is that the greatest percentage of this generation are young people below the age of 35 years, energetic, brilliant, and resilient. We have a population that are larger than most of the Asian and European countries, and yet they emerge to be the economic giants. Our population is over 45 million. Singapore has a population of 9 million. But we are ducks and are giants. There is absolutely a problem, and that can only be solved by you and me. Our land is arable. We are surrounded with water bodies that bless us with 2 rainy seasons a year, boosting agriculture. From the breathtaking Rwenzori Mountains to the rolling savannas of the Queen Elizabeth National Park, from the mighty River Nile to Lake Victoria Kam shores, we have sceneries that can make Uganda the tourism capital of Africa. We are bordered by 5 countries, giving us a unique advantage of trade and regional influence. Yet with all these blessings, we ask, why is Uganda still struggling? Why are our youth unemployed? Why are our hospitals crumbling? Why are our farmers poor? Why are our young men and women drowning in helplessness, seeking refuge in drugs, betting, and dangerous journeys abroad? Ladies and gentlemen, the answer is very simple and painful. Bad governance, corruption, tribalism, nepotism, selfishness among our leaders, incompetency. And that is why we are here to say enough is enough. We can no longer be silent. We can no longer be silent seeing abductions happening in this country. We can no longer be silent seeing young people lose lives each and every day in this country. We can no longer be silent seeing the green brains opting to seek life in Canada, in USA, in Asia, and in other European countries. We can no longer be silent. We can no longer be silent when each and every solid institution is crumbling to nothing. We can no longer be silent when our young people are detained in jail and never be subjected to justice. We can no longer be silent. Ladies and gentlemen, I charge you not to be silent. It is time for us to rise up. It's time for us to rise up and make a contribution towards the development of this country. But Uganda is not doomed. Uganda is not condemned. Uganda is simply misled. And with your help, with the blessings of the mighty God, we can steer Uganda back to greatness. Our vision is anchored in the 7 ideological principles that will guide each and every action that we take when you entrust us with leadership. And I know you will. We talk of economic independence. We must free our country from economic slavery. A nation that begs cannot govern itself. We must revise our fiscal policy. We must reduce government expenditure. We have to invest in our people and do everything possible to free our country from economic slavery. We talk of constitutionalism and rule of law. Laws must not be written for the poor and ignored by the powerful. Justice must be blind and fair for all. We talk of citizen involvement. Uganda will not be rebuilt by politicians, by political leaders. It must be rebuilt by the farmers, by the teachers, by the media, by the taxi drivers, by the students, by the religious leaders. We have to make each and every Ugandan get involved in the journey of making a contribution towards a better country. We talk of accountability. Leaders must be held accountable. Public office is not a privilege. It is a responsibility. And those with that responsibility must be held accountable. We talk of non-alignment. Uganda must chart its own path, free from foreign puppeteering. We must engage globally, but stand firm for Uganda's interests. We are not going to be bulldozed around. We shouldn't be taken wherever so-and-so wants to take us. We must protect our own national interests. And each and every country that wants to deal with us needs to have that in mind, that we have interests as a country, and therefore we protect them jealously. We talk of godliness. Uganda must be a righteous nation. If we forget God, we lose our soul. We must put God first in our governance and decisions. We talk of brotherliness. We must be our brother's keeper. Tribe, religion, region should never divide us. We are one people. These principles are deeply explained in my book, If I Became President, which lays out a clear roadmap, a compass of what we can do and what we are capable of doing if given an opportunity to take this country forward. We all know that Uganda suffers immensely with corruption. And we think that what has been employed the strategies that have been employed to fight corruption, for lack of a better word, are counterproductive. We certainly believe that no one wants to just steal money. No one is born a thief. But there are things, there are scenarios that are forcing our people, that are forcing our Ugandans, that are forcing our brothers to take on a path of unrighteousness. So, for us, when we talk of corruption, we want to address the corruption syndicate from the cause point of view. We believe that corruption can be categorized in two. There is need-driven corruption. Need. People steal because they want to fulfill their needs. That's one type of corruption. Then there is greed-driven corruption. Therefore, if we are to address the issues of corruption that are eating up our country, we need to address them from the cause point of view. What are the causes? Like I said, need and greed. How basic are we investing in sorting out the basic needs of man? The elementary basic needs of man. And what are these basic needs of man? Shelter, to start with. Education. Health care. How easy is it for Ugandan to get good health care? I can tell you, if your child is sick and you have to pay 2 million and you have an opportunity to get into the government coffers, you will steal money. If you are 40 years of age and you've not gotten a plot of land for yourself and built a house, you're going to steal. If your child is not going to school and you have an opportunity to steal, you will steal. Therefore, if we are to address the issues of corruption, we need to address these key issues. And what we mostly point out is the issue of shelter. A civil servant who earns 1 million a month, for example, how easy is it for that civil servant to buy a plot of land in Mukono Metropolitan and build a house of 200 million? And these are our civil servants, these are our soldiers, these are the RDCs earning 2 million shillings. But you are aware that this police officer is going to work for me for the next 25 years. Why does he have to go through the hassle of buying a plot of land and building a house of 200 million in it? And how long will it take? Now that takes us to a substantive investment in the mortgage sector. If we are to fight corruption, because people steal to buy plots of land and build homes, if we are to fight corruption from the need point of view, we need to start by extensively investing in the mortgage sector. Elsewhere, someone should be in position to get a house, a civil servant. You know that he has a job with us that is permanent and pensionable. He should own a house that he pays over a period of time for maybe 20 or so years. Therefore, that in itself takes away the other need point of view for him to dip his hand into the jar to steal. We need to address education. We need to address health care. You see, that there are so many opportunities that we are continuing to mismanage that would have done us good. We're talking about the mortgage sector. We have our brothers in Wazalendo who are doing very well. That's SACCO, military SACCO. But they're into making masks and making water. They're sleeping giant. We charge them, and we have to charge them to get into the real estate sector, to have a state bank rooted in the military that can sort the housing problem of this country. And when you're talking of mortgages, we're not talking of mortgages just to be built in metropolitan Kampala. We are talking of mortgages that can be built as far as houses that can be built as far as Kabal, as far as Arua, as far as Mbal, as far as all these places. When we sort out the housing problem of our people will be immunized from stealing, because they are stealing to satisfy the need. We are looking at how best we can capacitate the National Housing Corporation to see to it that it addresses this gap. We are looking at how best the NSSF can come in and invest in this sector so that our people can have houses cheaply. Ladies and gentlemen, many of you here are sleeping on millions. You're sleeping on houses worth 100 million. You're sleeping in houses worth 200 million, 300 million. And that money you just got from your businesses, from your bank accounts and built, and you're looking for capital, but you're sleeping on money. In the modern setup, we shouldn't be taking that narrative. People should have mortgages that are paid for a period of time, and then money can work for them, create employment opportunities, and the others. Talking about greed-driven corruption, greed. Our policy in fighting greed-driven corruption is government money is recovered at 100%. When you steal 100 million, government will recover from you 200 million. When you steal 100 million, government will recover from you 200 million at 100%, and you will be in jail until when government recovers from your 100 million. That, in our opinion, is to address the greed. People who are just greedy, they're stealing out of greed. We hope that will also work. We want to revolutionize our education system. We want to seriously revolutionize our education system. To start with, the classes in primary are going to be reduced from 7 to 6. Because a number of countries, this is not just coming from the blue, a number of countries do not have what is an equivalent of P7. So in seeing to it that we have 6 classes, we are saving on our people's time, we are saving on expenditure in terms of classrooms, textbooks, but most importantly, our children can easily get into secondary school and finish early. The equivalent of P7 is something that we will consider putting off. We are looking at government scholarships being only for students that are from government schools. Let me say this again. Government scholarships are to be from students from all the government schools. And why are we doing this? Why are we looking at this in this perspective? We are saying that if we are to have our children get back to government schools, get back to Ngogol Baskerville, get back to Bukit College Kachonga, get back to these mighty schools. Now the money that would have been invested in directly productive sectors is instead spent in brick and mortar. It is spent in brick and mortar when a school that I went to, Nkoyoyo, boarding primary school, has a capacity of 3,000 but has 500. So we are literally killing money. And we are the ones, the parents, who are building these private schools in terms of expensive school fees. So we need to revise this, and we must do it as soon as possible because it has a multiplier effect. We are looking at having our children study from this country, Uganda. A number of our rich friends now have opted to have their children go and study outside the country. And we are increasingly having what we call white people in the black skin. Huh? White people in the black skin. They come back when they're white, but the skin is black. And they're given opportunities in the ministries, in institutions, but they're not for us. All of you know what happened, the saga that happened in Bank of Uganda, when after that lady went away, whatever saga that happened. We have black people that have betrayed us. And this is happening because the institutions that they're attending, of course, are foreign so much, but again, they do not have an attachment to the country that they continue to call home. So we are saying that for you want to have a government job, your first professional qualification has to have been from a government institution. If you at one point in time seek to have a government job, your first professional qualification should have been from a government institution here. You can of course go and upgrade elsewhere, but your first professional qualification has to be from a government institution. And this is going to save us a lot of money that we are donating in India, in the UK, and in so many other places. We are looking at reinstating PTCs. PTCs are primary teachers colleges that have been scrapped off recently. We were told by teachers from PTC, and we are better people. There is absolutely no need for a primary school teacher to first get a degree. We need to make sure that our children graduate early and join the workforce. The fact that this was revised, we look at it as something that was unwise and something that has to be changed immediately. So we shall reinstate PTCs so that we can have teachers graduate early and join the work market. The same applies to nurses. People should graduate early and join the workforce. That we shall revise. We are going to make it a little bit hard for our brothers and sisters operating private schools, but it is going to be for their own good, because private schools are indirectly killing the economy. We want people to invest in directly productive sectors, and we are going to do this by making sure that government schools are better taken off. And therefore, the licensing of private schools licenses is going to be put to a standstill or revised, because we want people to invest in directly productive sectors. Sciences are no longer going to be compulsory at all level. Sciences are no longer going to be compulsory at all level, but a vocational course. But I was saying that sciences are no longer going to be compulsory at all level. But instead, a vocational course will be compulsory. Because some of us have gone through that kind of environment where sciences were compulsory, but they never literally helped us become better people. Having a vocational course, for example, carpentry compulsory in O level, will make sure that our kids are better skilled than having chemistry, science, or biology compulsory. So we are looking at seeing to it that instead of having biology, chemistry compulsory, it's a vocational course. And these vocational courses are to be zoned in schools. You should know that when I take my child to this school in Gulu, what is compulsory is hairdressing. When I take them to Kororo, what is compulsory is electricity. So they're zoned. And we have students graduate with these skills as opposed to just elementary knowledge of titrating and pipetting. We are looking at having regional specialized universities. Our universities, we are risking having an actual study from Guru, from primary to university. So for us to enhance regional balance, we are thinking that thinking that universities need to be zoned and specialized. For example, you talk of Gulu University, and you know that Gulu, if you want to go to Gulu University, you're going to find there veterinary. So each and every child who wants to do veterinary will get to Gulu. And in doing so, we are going to have a mix of Bachiga, of Bacholis, of Baganda going to that place. And this is going to capacitate that area of Gulu, for example, because it will always get around 200,000 students a year. And that means jobs, that means arcades, that means opportunities that side. So all these universities, government universities, we are going to make them specialized and zoned. We are looking at having schools as production centers. Our schools need to be looked at as production centers to capacitate them to do production, not just mere learning centers, but schools need to be at least on 30 acres of land to produce. If we are to give a tractor, it should be given to a school. So that is a model kind of investment that is done in those communities, but also can provide opportunities to the people around. We are seeking at revising our fiscal policy, and this is very important. We are seeking at revising our fiscal policy. And in revising our fiscal policy, we want the income tax reduced and the VAT reduced. We want the income tax to be reduced to 24% and the VAT to 12%. Why? Because Uganda is still running a society where our families are still interlinked. And the earning of John is benefiting more like 20 or so people. Therefore, when you give John, when you leave John with enough disposable income, you're empowering so many people in the value chain. And this is not just in Uganda. Singapore has a lower income tax rate. Malaysia has a lower income tax rate. In fact, Singapore has an income tax of 22% and a VAT of 9%. Hungary has 9% income tax. We want people to get money, and then they can spend it and be taxed on expenditure. So our income tax and VAT are going to be reduced for the better of Ugandans. We are looking at making police bond officially not free, so that that money can be added into the national national economy. Because even right now, people are being charged to get police bond. So we shall put a fee of 50,000 that is paid in the bank for one to get police bond. It's official, and that money is a non-tax revenue that can add to the development of our country. We are looking at introducing taxes to farms, to farmers of animals, to farmers of crops. Anyone who has an acreage of beyond 7 acres should pay tax. Our traders downtown, you find them in shops as in square meters, but they're paying tax. And yet a farmer deep down in Bungiri, having so many acres of land, earning a lot of money in Matoke and in cows and milk, is not paying tax. We seek to revise that, to see to it that each and every Ugandan pays taxes and pays a fair share of that tax. We are looking at population control. And in population control, we are looking at revising our open policy to refugees. Because at the end of the day, we are flooding this country with a population that has not been planned before. Uganda's population is projected to be 100 million by 2050. And we have to plan for this population. So we shall change our open refugee policy. We are looking at creating employment opportunities through capacitating our sports investors. The sports industry of Netherlands employs 150,000 people. Netherlands is a country of 17 million people. Netherlands has 30 standard world-class football pitches. But for us here, our people are into Man U, Arsenal and the rest. We want to see to it that our sports industry employs our people. And in doing that, we want to see to it that we have better football teams that have appealing ideological orientations. Because how do you expect a Ugandan to support Maroons or Prisons, or UPDF, or URA? We want to see to it that we have teams that people of Busia can support because they have attachment to them. That people of Toronto, that people of all these places can support. And in doing so, we shall be creating our employment opportunities to our young people. We want to capacitate our movie and music industry. Saudi Arabia right now is looking at constructing 300 cinema halls by 2030. 300 cinema halls by 2030. Because it knows that that's where the jobs are. In Uganda, the cinema halls that we even had in Kampala were turned into something. So by having to see to it that the people in the creative industry even have where to perform from, it will be a step in the positive direction. We are looking at having police officers commute from home, with the exception of those that are on duty. Because this is what happens elsewhere. We can't manage to have police officers in barracks, and their welfare will continue to be poor. So we are looking at having police officers commute from home, with the exception of those on duty that will be staying in police dormitories that will be constructed on such centers. We are looking at seeing to it that gradually we reduce the percentage of Ugandans in agriculture. A country that has a big percentage of its people in agriculture is a poor country. Every country that has a big percentage of its people in agriculture suffers poverty. So we need to see to it that slowly by slowly the percentage in agriculture goes down, but people instead engage into commercial and big agriculture. We want to see people buy shares in agricultural farms as opposed to buying 10 acres of land, 5 or 2, just to do normal subsistence agriculture. We want to sort out the land issues that are disturbing this country. Mostly the land issues are in Uganda here because of the 1900 agreement and so many other things that have been happening here. So many Uganda right now are running out of this country. The reason is small. The 1900 agreement was very unfair to them. It gave the state land and the other land that was divided. And this system has been inherited by the governments that have come through. Now you find that a tribe that has the biggest population, its people are landless. Landless. And the option is to survive around, and many end up running out of this country. We want to see to it that this is also sorted. Still, regarding land, we are saying that no single Ugandan should own more than 0.1% of the total land of Uganda. No single Ugandan should own more than 0.01% of the total land in Uganda. People have stolen money. People have invested in land. People have bought land. And Ugandans are landless. So we are saying at the maximum amount of land that one should have is not more than 0.01 of the total land of Uganda, that is 15 square miles. So that other people can also have an opportunity to own a piece of their country. We are going to restore the federal system of governance. And we shall start by restoring Ankole Kingdom. Ankole Kingdom is going to be restored. Because kingdoms play a very instrumental role in guiding the course of development of countries. And that's why many of these countries, even in Europe, have maintained their monarchs. So we want to capacitate all the monarchs, but most importantly, we are looking at introducing the federal system of governance. We are going to establish regional service commissions. We now have a central public service commission. We are saying that if we need 30 people to take up work in UEDCL, for example, each and every region, the 14 founding regions, should make a contribution to these 30 people. We don't want to have scenarios where a certain ethnicity is dominating. No, this country belongs to all of us. And therefore, all these 14 founding regions that formed Uganda will have regional service commissions that will be in a position to have people recruited into the main civil service. If you want to empower Karamoja, you should give opportunities to their people. The Karamojans should get job opportunities. That's how we shall empower them. If they're not educated, then scholarships, government scholarships should be directed to making sure that they're educated so that they can also have a share of their country. We are going to restructure the functionality of born-again churches. Let me say this again. We are going to restructure the functionality of born-again churches. Our churches, I am a born-again. The number of our churches that are exploiting our people. And we cannot look on. We cannot look on when our people are being exploited. We cannot look on. In fact, there are some pastors I've heard of who need to be arrested for obtaining money by false pretense. And when we take power, some pastors will be arrested for obtaining money by false pretense. So we are going to restructure born-again churches in this way. No church should operate within a radius of 3 kilometers. If there is a church here, why should there be a church there? And yet the church here is not full. The other one is also fundraising for land. The other one is also fundraising for building. Where are the resources? Our people are being squeezed out. We shall restructure this. And if the born-agains want to pray in tongues against us, we shall pray in tongues against them. Amen. Because this is the right thing to do. We want to uphold rule of law and democracy. Rule of law and democracy. And the 26th of January, what has been commonly known as the NRM Day, we are going to turn it into the National Day of Democracy and Constitutionalism. And on this day, we shall remember that Amin and Museveni took power on this day, more or less the 26th of January. We are going to revise that day to make it the National Day of Democracy and Constitutionalism. And we speak to Ugandans that not at any point in time should we get back to the days of Museveni, to the days of Amin. This must change. Because Amin and Museveni have more or less had the same traits that we should revise. So we want to rename UPDF to Uganda Defense Forces. UPDF should be renamed to UDF, Uganda Defense Forces, like KDF, IDF, and so many. There is an attachment that UPDF has to NRA, kind of. That must change. Our soldiers should serve their country, not having a guerrilla mentality as though they are serving an individual. So we are changing UPDF to Uganda Defense Forces when we take power. Entebbe State House and Nakasero State Lodge, we are thinking that they should be historical and they are going to be turned into museums. And why are we doing this? We want to build a new state house whose contribution is directly from the people, not through taxes, but want to arouse the country. The country raises money to build this state house, and whoever will make a contribution, their names will be on the walls of that house. So that whoever occupies that house will know that this house was built by people's voluntary contributions. And when they're in that house, they should never think that that house is theirs. So when we take power, just know that whoever is now occupying those buildings is in a museum. We want to reduce public expenditure. As I try to wind up, we want to reduce public expenditure. And you remember, Ugandans, that I championed the campaign to reduce the size of our parliament. We are saying that each district should be represented by one member of parliament, like I said it previously.
Yes, I'm original district.
Because we have a local government system from LC1, 3, and 5. So our thinking is we only need one member of parliament to take the views of the district to the National Assembly. Not again having a district cut into constituencies. And the office of that member of parliament should be at the district, so that whatever has failed in the district councils can be taken for debate in the National Assembly. So the representatives of the disabled, the elder, the UPDF will not be represented in parliament. They should remain at local councils. And when it comes to the women representatives, we are saying each and every district should be represented by at least 3 women. I mean, each and every region, the 14 founding regions of Uganda, 3 women. And these women should be through their own women councils. But we are having a woman district member of parliament who is voted by everyone. What kind of affirmative action is that? That has to change. And when I take power, we are going to redo the parliamentary elections, like it happened in Senegal. We shall not have this parliament. When I take power, we shall have re-elections for parliament. We just can't keep having this burden onto the taxpayer. RDCs are going to become regional. We just can't have an RDC in all these districts. We have elected leaders in these districts, and therefore we think RDCs should be regional. We are looking at revising the government policy on vehicles. There is no way we spend all this money on government officials driving around these vehicles. Our policy is and will be government employees get cars on soft loan, and they are their own cars. You drive your car, apart from operational vehicles. You drive your own car to go to work, and you have to go to work. The judges will pay you 15 plus million. You should be in position to get a car on soft loan and save this money, because our country is still struggling. our cabinet will be reduced to 30. Some authorities will be closed. Some authorities will have to be closed. For example, KCCA shouldn't be an authority with ministers, ED and all that kind of stuff. We want to have that revised. Thank you. The State House Anti-Corruption Unit, all those units will be merged into something else. We are spending a lot of money on these things. NEMA, National Management Authority, it is undercapacitated and it's not doing its work. We are saying that the manning of environmental issues should be handled by the village unit. The chairperson of the village should be held accountable for a swamp degraded, for a forest cut down, as opposed to having someone in Kampala masquerading to be protecting the environment, but they do not have the capacity. So NEMA will be disbanded and powers given to the Minister of Environment. And instead, its powers decentralized to the local levels. We are looking at protecting our environment, banning polythene bags, attaching a redeemable fee on plastics that are used. We are looking at removing VAT on gas and electricity so that people can use these facilities cheaply. We are looking at removing import duty on gas cylinders. We are looking at investing in our transport infrastructure to see to it that we have better movement of our people. Right now, a lot of time is spent. I wonder when Ugandans work. We go late at work because of jam. We go early from work because of jam. We need to have this change, and an investment is going to be made in that direction. For our brothers and sisters with HIV, brothers and sisters with HIV/AIDS, sorry, we are going to revise the policy of someone getting medicine for HIV for free. It is unfair for people who are working tirelessly and living better lives. Their taxes are used to take care of someone who is living recklessly and right now is in a lodge. So we are saying that we shall set up an AIDS database for people who already have HIV. And for new infections, unless you are raped or something like that, you'll have to foot your own bill to treat yourself for HIV. It is unfair. We are looking at reducing the elective positions, and we shall start by removing the parish as an administrative unit, so that the local council, the village chairperson, is the one who represents his village to the sub-county. We don't need that unit. So the chairperson of the village should represent his village to the sub-county, not councillors within there. We are looking at reviving the health sector by having health insurance for our people. And we are looking at every sub-county having an health center so the health center fees will be phased out. We are looking at giving scholarships to our people in the health sector so that they can cover the gaps where experts are lacking. When it comes to the media, our brothers in the media, we want to restructure the state media. UBC should broadcast only in English, and all other sister agencies that are around UBC are going to be disbanded. These other sister agencies, so that the private industry benefits in terms of advertisements and the rest. We want to see to it that it's UBC, the government station, New Vision, the rest of these are going to be auctioned to give room for the private media houses to thrive. Media people should be clapping for that. We are going to change the government procurement guidelines so that there is no single contractor who can consecutively supply government. Opportunities for us to supply government will be uniform, and everyone should benefit from these deals. And no single company will get a government contract unless 70% of its employees are not from the same ethnicity. if we are to get a government contract, we need to know that 70% of your employees are not from one ethnicity. That is how we shall work on regional balance and development. We are going to enhance regional cooperation, but we want to push an agenda when it comes to East African community. The East African community has the East African Legislative Assembly. And the salary of the MP of the East African Legislative Assembly, MP, a year is the budget of a district. What kind of thing are we doing? We are saying that this process of East African Federation needs to be slowed down. Slowed down. Because those who are advocating for it are ideologically shallow in this. Because if you're looking at regional market and growth, Singapore instead disintegrated from Malaysia. Singapore had a population of 1.2 million. And it's now an economic power. For us to integrate, we need to first build the capacity as a country and then merge. But what we are pushing for with East African Federation and integration is like bringing six sick people together with hope that you'll come up with one healthy person. You bring six sick people together with hope that you can come up with one healthy person. You see what is in Sudan, the democracy that is there. These countries are still lacking, and therefore we need to go slow on many of these things. The city center, as I conclude, the city center, Kampala, we need to have our roads paved. We are wasting and spending a lot of money in garages. Most of our cars are always having mechanical problems. The road infrastructure is poor. We need to see to it that our roads are tarmacked. And we are going to encourage our people. There are some feeder roads that can be tarmacked by the people themselves. For as long as 50%, for as long as no one contributes a much exceeding 50% for a particular stretch, people should be encouraged to pave some of these roads.
Put your hands together for the wise man from the east. We know the wise man came from the east. We have no doubt. So wise man name, honorable. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. That day was for unveiling Nasaka Kumba Sebalam. What you did? Yes? Okay. No excuses. We're talking about Uganda. Tuneyo twatondo magenda tinagende bodo nenkola ntya. Naye omujjajjaffe oyo ejjajjaffe asinga okwekwasa kuba buli kye bamubuuzanga lwaki tewaleetako ng'alina ensonga lwaki teyaleetako. Bassebo ne bannyabo Sebalamu aleeseeko. Bwe yagenda Buddu n'alyayokeji aleeseeko. Talina nsonga zonna za kwekwasa ate nenkola ntya. So put your hands together for that man who is standing to shine for us. Okay, and as we wrap, nanzikiriza nti tubimunzise bulungi. Wekiri? Amanyanza Isaac Sentongo, mwebale nnyo okubeerawo ku koozi eno, oluggi tulugudde ffenna, tuyingira ffenna, tuzimba ffenna, tupanga ffenna, tuwangula ffenna. Mu linnya lya Katonda nga ye mukulembeze waffe. Mbonoja n'osembera wano wali akagamba Uganda belongs to us all. Uganda yaffe ffenna. Songerako. Saba sebo tuwe anthem yaffe tuyimirire nga tuwunzika omukolo gwa leero.
Thank you, ladies and